does it keep showing that red?
I was like,
All right. Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Yongho from the Yongho. And
from
you
the
are?
Korean Resource Center, right? I'm Ashley from the Korean Resource Center.
Yeah.
Hi.
So we are involved in this two-day action of AAPI. Wait, are you? Maybe you should go a little further back. AAPI organization across the country. This is our first day. We just gather all our participants, which is like,
Yeah.
and
We're here now preparing for a press conference that'll start at 11. We're demanding that. Here, you can read it off to them.
we're demanding that Congress do your job and pass the Dream Act.
Yes.
So we'll be starting the press conference in about 8 minutes. So you can, you could hang around with us, or come back in 8 minutes and listen to the speakers of many of our youth leaders and young people who have come to share their stories with the American public and with elected legislators.
Yeah, including Representative Judy Chu. Do you want to start with one?
So in the morning we have had a brief orientation with the participants, some guidelines, messaging guidelines, and so forth. And right now we are at the next to Congress at the House Triangle, where we'll be holding a press conference. The rest of the day, let's modify later the video description to have the link to the website. So later in the day, in 2 hours, we'll also be having a rally near the Senate building, and there'll be different activities unfolding throughout the afternoon. And tomorrow we'll be chasing after legislators. We'll be playing Catch Your Legislator. Gotta catch them all and to pass the Dream Act. So,
So keep following Nakasek to watch all these live streams.
So exciting.
Thank you.
We'll make sure that.
Mara's calling you. You probably have to pass these signs.
Just like all the great. Yeah, so we moved our press conference.
Oh, we had that happen last night, man.
Oh, really? Which way is the Senate?
Sure.
Our rally at 1 is yeah, so after this, all of our people, we're going to have lunch and then come back out to the rally, and then we're going to do the...
And then we have to find a bunch of people to hold the sign on their back.
You know. Just like calling people. Johanna, you're one of the dumplings.
Are people just watching you stand there?
I think they're waiting for the press conference to start, right?
Yeah, there's 2 people. Hi, 2 people. Does this rotate? Can I show them Sehi?
Assertively talks to two people.
Yay!
Yeah. Got rid of some of these
You can loosen this part and then it moves.
Oh yeah, you want to edit? Why don't I add the website in the Facebook comments?
Sure.
Yeah, can I just
Yeah.
type in here?
We can?
Yeah.
No, that's a comment.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sure.
So it'll show up.
That's a show for everyone joining afterwards. Huh?
Yeah. Learn more and
That would have been a
AAPI
good thing.
Yeah, it's working. It's live on the website.
Woohoo!
Yep.
Done. Should I also comment that on YouTube, or will you just edit that later?
Yeah, later.
Okay. Oh, someone said hello to us. Hello.
Hi, Mauricio. Mauricio.
Sorry if we pronounced your name wrong.
Your name is just Mauricio, right? Just split it in 2.
Hello to you.
I wasn't very helpful.
Oh, it just like fell.
Oh yeah, you can. So with this, we can loosen the grip and then move it around and then tighten it.
Okay. I was just wondering why it suddenly like.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Earthquake?
Let me share it on KRC's right now.
Okay. Wait, but I'm not gonna hang around here for long. I'm gonna be running around with this. Put it behind the
Are you
podium.
gonna be here?
Yes.
In this area? Because I'm gonna leave my bags.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you saw that, right?
Yes.
Saw that. Okay, good. I'm just trying to remember names, faces, and email addresses that people I've been talking with.
Yes.
Share that live stream. Oh, do you wanna? Why don't you speak to her on the live stream?
No.
Never mind, the speaker ran away. Yeah, I was like, shouldn't someone be like doing something about it?
Names, faces, and email.
Hi, Marianne Baeza. Thank you for joining us. So we are live at the in Washington D.C. And as part of our two-day action, we are starting off with a press conference at the House Triangle. So we'll be starting any minute now. We're joined by Congressmember Julie Chu, and the other speakers will be arriving shortly as well. So let's. Right? Hang in there.
Yeah, I've talked about. Yes, I did.
Good. How are you doing? Good.
I wonder what will happen to the video if we flip this. Let's see. Oh, it responds. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, we just figured that'd be
Yeah, I'm not.
my phone.
That definitely saves one step.
Well, this is not good.
You know what? We need help.
So I flipped the tripod, Ashley, and oh wait, Facebook is not happy that we flipped it, so we're gonna have to restart.
No!
We're gonna have to restart.
But people are commenting and watching.
Yeah, I know.
Wait, why don't
So-
I just unscrew it and then
We-
turn it?
No. Oh, you mean? Okay, sure.
Then you don't have to do like start
Okay.
a new one. Someone said hi. Say hi to them, Yomo.
Oh yeah, I told Marianne Bass.
Oh.
Make sure none of the buttons are pressed.
Oh.
So you need to pull it. Yeah, there we go.
There. Because I'm about to post this link and then.
What is the website?
apidream.org/live.
We are live streaming
Great, everyone left.
AAPI.
Dream.org/live.
But also on Nakasek's Facebook page.
Yeah. What happened here? Oh. Hey, can you hold this?
Yeah.
I need to adjust several things. I changed it to the back camera, and this was covering the back camera.
Oh.
So we're gonna move it like this, and bring it here,
All of this, Beers, go ahead.
and then
It's okay, but we
Screw
won't
it
even
in.
see your face.
Oh, wait a minute. So you want to cover his face?
I'm so sorry. I mean, Scott, I'm so, like, if we hadn't spent those weeks in Pittsburgh, I would not be asking you this, but I feel like we ate pierogies.
We did GOTV
We ate
last
pierogies
year.
together.
That's right. The ultimate white guy thing to do.
I'm also the chair of the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus, or what we call AAPI. I'm so thrilled to be here today with Asian and Pacific Islander dreamers and advocates flown in all across the country to kick off today's Asian American and Pacific Islander Day of Action to pass the DREAM Act. President Trump's cruel decision to end the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program has left the lives of nearly 800,000 dreamers in limbo. This includes the over 130,000 Asian and Pacific Islander dreamers across the nation who are forced to live with increasing uncertainty and fear. These dreamers are from South Korea, the Philippines, India, Pakistan, and other Asian countries who were brought here to the United States as children through no fault of their own, grew up here, went to school here, and call this country their home. They are American in every way except on paper, and they are here to stay. Over the past 2 months, I've heard from countless dreamers all across the nation about the urgent need to press and pass the DREAM Act. And so to our nation's dreamers, I'm here to say that we in AAPI hear you and we support you, and we will pass the legislation to protect you. Americans know that it should not be in the position of deportating young people and tearing families apart. It's un-American and absolutely indefensible to force 800,000 young people to go back into the shadows and force deportation to countries they do not even know. Trump and the Republicans have seen the backlash to their inhumane decision to terminate DACA, but we have to press upon them the human cost to such a decision. And that's why I'm urging the Republican leadership in both the House and Senate to allow us to vote on a clean DREAM Act bill immediately. We know the votes are there to get it passed. So let's keep working together to achieve that goal. In Congress, I'm committed to continuing to take action to ensure that dreamers like the outstanding young men and women standing behind me have a chance to pursue their dreams. And next, I'd like to bring up my colleague from the great state of New York, Congressmember Grace May.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you to our chairwoman, Congresswoman Chu, for her tremendous leadership on this issue. Special thank you to all of the dreamers who are here today, to our advocates and immigration leaders across the country who are here with us today. We are here because we demand action. We demand passage of a clean DREAM Act. It's unacceptable that the lives of almost 800,000 young people are up in the air, along with the lives of tens of millions of their family members, friends, and co-workers. AAPIs are often a forgotten part of the story. 19,000 AAPIs are DACA recipients, and they are among the 130,000 AAPIs who could qualify for the program. The fate of DACA is not separate from us. It deeply affects our communities. It's tearing our families apart, and we must speak out. Just last month, I met with AAPI DACA recipients right in my own district to hear their stories, and they are terrified. DACA is a lifeline that allowed them to go to college, to start a career, and and to pursue the American dream. Now it all may be taken away from them. They're terrified because they will be ripped away from their studies, their jobs, their families, their communities. And this is the only home, the only country that they can remember. There are 800,000 such stories around our nation. Deporting 800,000 young people is not only inhumane, it would be devastating for our economy, which stands to lose $400 billion if Congress does not act. 85% of Americans want Congress to pass legislation to protect dreamers, and the need to protect dreamers has become even more urgent. Just this week, USCIS announced that it's refusing to process DACA renewal applications that were sent on time but were delayed by the U.S. Postal Service for weeks. And I want to thank my colleague, Congressman Krishnamurthy, for being a leader on this issue specifically. We can allow lives to hang in the balance like this, especially when dreamers are doing everything right. We echo the vast majority of our fellow Americans. The time to pass the DREAM Act is now. Every single Democrat in the House and the Senate supports the DREAM Act. We urge our colleagues on the other side of the aisle to act with compassion and common sense to join us now. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressmember Meng. I'd now like to introduce our first dreamer to speak. He is a recipient of DACA. That's Jung Bin Cho from the National Korean American Service and Education Consortium.
I'd like to thank Congresswoman Judy Chu. My name is Jung Bin Cho, and my family emigrated to the U.S. from South Korea in 2001. My parents decided to leave South Korea to attain the American dream for the children to gain the best education possible. I have been in Virginia since I came to the United States when I was 7 years old. I have been in Virginia for 16 years, and luckily, with hard work, I was able to receive my Bachelor's of Science in Business from Virginia Tech this May 2017. The road to graduating college in the United States with no documentation was tough, but with hard work and the mentality to never give up, I was able to overcome tough obstacles and challenges. Even with DACA, I had to maintain working 2 jobs while having an internship and still managing to be a full-time student in college. Because I had to pay out-of-state tuition my first year of college, my parents worked very long hours, 7 times a week, to help support our family. I was eligible to apply for DACA when President Obama announced it in 2012 and had it ever since. I can remember how frustrating it was my senior year in 2013 because even though I had excellent grades to go to college, I didn't have the financial resources to attend college that I wanted to go to. My DACA is set to expire in September 2018, and I cannot renew anymore because of the cutoff deadline. Every day, Congress is not acting on a solution for dreamers. 122 bright DACA-mentored individuals are losing protection, and by January 2018 until March 2019, more than 50,000 individuals will lose their DACA protection each month. Clean Dream Act will allow many bright individuals who grew up in the United States without knowing their home country to achieve the American dream. Undocumented young people are hardworking individuals who are integrated into many different parts of the nation's economy. We also want to keep families together, so passing the Clean Dream Act at the cost of deporting our parents is unacceptable and unreasonable. Undocumented immigrants and their families are here to stay. We as community members can continue to keep up the pressure to pass a Clean Dream Act by calling and sending petitions to our Congress members. We also urge Democrats to come together and continue to keep the pressure to pass a Clean Dream Act. Undocumented lives are a nonpartisan issue, and both the Democrats and Republicans can make it an urgent issue by simply co-signing a Clean Dream Act. I hope that we all can take the time to get to know an undocumented immigrant, and then we will know what the right thing to do is.
Thank Thank you, Junbin, for that very moving testimony. Next, I'd like to recognize one of our faith leaders, Patrick Carlon from the Franciscan Action Network.
Woo, Patrick!
Good morning. Peace and all good. 3 years ago, at this very time, excuse me, DJ, myself, and several others were just a couple blocks down the road sitting in tents on a 30-day hunger fast called Fast for Families. We started out with 6 of us in that tent that day. We ended up with over 10,000 people joining that fast. 2 months ago, Nakasok, the Franciscans, United We Dream, Firm, and many other immigrant organizations and faith organizations did a 22-day, 24-hour vigil in front of the White House. Several of us got arrested on that vigil. We've been down this road before. We've been down it for too long. The time for empty promises and talk is long overdue. Now is the time to pass a Clean Dream Act. My parents were immigrants. They came to America in 1950. My oldest brother was 2. Today, he would have been considered a dreamer. My parents came to America with nothing. They had no money, no education, just a dream. They raised 6 children, all 6 who went on to graduate college. They had a grandson who served 2 tours in Afghanistan, a granddaughter, my daughter, who just came back from serving a tour in Iraq. They had my brother who came here at 2 years old and served in the Navy during the Vietnam War. The only difference between my family coming here in 1950 and all of these young people coming here today is that at that point in time, our country welcomed the immigrants, welcomed them, cared for them, asked them to come. Today we've changed those rules. Today we say no, we turn them back. My mother used to say, what would have happened if when we got off the boat at Ellis Island, if they said to us, you're not welcome here, go back home, we don't want you. And let me say, my parents came on a visitor's visa, and they stayed. They didn't leave after their 6 months visitor's visa, like most people who came to this country from Europe that came on a visitor's visa and just never left. But the laws then allowed for them to have a green card and finally come get work and get a citizenship. So we've been down this road before for far too long. Most of our all of our spiritual traditions teach us that we have to welcome the stranger. We have to care for the immigrant, the poor. The vast majority of the members of Congress claim to be Christian. Paul Ryan, the Speaker of the House, claims to follow the same faith, the Catholic faith that I follow. He claims to follow Jesus the same way I do. He must be reading a different gospel than I'm reading when he makes that claim. So I would ask all of our members of Congress to please stop pretending to be Christian, stop pretending to be people of faith, and start acting like you're Christian. Pass the DREAM Act today. Peace. Thank you.
And now our great leader, Congress member Raja Krishnamurthy from Illinois.
Good morning. Good morning. I am honored to be here. Thank you for having me, and thank you to Congresswoman Judy Chu for her amazing leadership, Congresswoman Meng, Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, and Congressman Al Green have been champions of immigration and the Dreamers. I'm so honored to be with them this morning. For me, the ongoing uncertainty and fear the Dreamers face every day is deeply personal. I too was brought to the United States by parents when I was a child, just 3 months old. My parents came here from oceans away with the hope of a better life, a hope no different than the parents of the Dreamers both here with us today and across the country hold for their children. This is the same hope that has driven every successive wave of immigrants to our shores. They came here because of the promise of this country: stability, a good education, and the ability to climb up in the world. Here in America, you can go from being an immigrant to being a member of Congress. That's what makes America truly great. The Trump administration's decision to end the DACA program was troubling enough, but now there are reports that our year-end spending package will not include a Dreamer fix, despite what the president said in September. That is unacceptable. Dreamers play a vital role in our economy, and ending DACA would cost our country nearly $500 billion over 10 years. Let me repeat that. Nearly $500 billion over 10 years. In Illinois alone, the state would lose over $2.2 billion in our state annually. But the contributions of Dreamers go beyond any single statistic. Dreamers have built their lives here. They've started their families here. And they bled in uniform for the only home they've ever known, the United States of America. They deserve to stay. That's why it's now on Congress, Republicans and Democrats alike, to find a permanent fix for the DACA population. There is bipartisan support for legislation that protects our Dreamers from deportation and provides them a pathway to citizenship. It's now on Speaker Ryan to put this bill on the floor. I'm a proud co-sponsor of the DREAM Act and the American Hope Act. I'm also working with my colleagues to ensure that the Department of Homeland Security gives every DACA applicant the consideration that they deserve. This is not the time to rush on paperwork. Lives are literally at stake. I join all of you in calling for Speaker Ryan to set partisanship aside and stand with the Dreamers. Are you with me on that?
Yeah!
Let's come together and do the right thing. It's true that we all came to America on different ships, but we're all in the same boat now. We are a nation of laws, but we are a nation of immigrants. Let us remember that. That is what makes America exceptional, and let's stay true to our ideals and who we are as Americans. Thank you very much.
And now I'd like to recognize the Congress member who fights for her constituents in Hawaii, Tulsi Gabbard.
Thank you, Congressman Judy Chu, for your leadership with AAPI and bringing us all together here today for this urgent and pressing cause. There are over 800,000 people all across the country, including over 600 people in my home state of Hawaii, whose lives are literally hanging in the balance. I had a chance to meet with a group of Dreamers in my home state of Hawaii on the island of Maui not too long ago, and we sat together in a room as they shared their stories of hardship, of hope, and now of fear, of uncertainty, of what lies ahead. People who have known no other home other than the island of Maui or the state of Hawaii. People who face a decision of being sent to a country that they have never known before, that is foreign to them, or falling back into the shadows that they are all too familiar with. Sometimes they're asked, well, why didn't you correct this situation sooner? Why didn't you begin your path to citizenship sooner? What most people don't understand is that for these Dreamers, there has been no path available until DACA was put in place. There was no other choice other than to remain in the shadows. DACA presented that opportunity for people to go to school, to get a job, to start a small business, to begin to think about actually building a future in this country. So that's what's at stake here today, and that is the responsibility that Congress now has to pass legislation, to pass a Clean Dream Act, to provide a permanent resolution to this predicament that too many people are facing all across this country. We cannot afford to wait. We cannot afford to waste any more time. We must stand together, Republicans and Democrats as Americans, to pass a permanent solution to this, to pass the DREAM Act now. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we have another Dreamer. And guess what? She has a PhD. She's currently working for her PhD at Texas Tech University. How about that? That is Saba Nafis. And let me also recognize that we've been joined by Congressmember Al Green from Texas and Congressmember Camilla Jayapal from the state of Washington.
Thank you, Congresswoman Judy Chu. Like she said, I'm a PhD candidate at Texas Tech University. I'm a Red Raider, I'm a Texan, I'm an American, and I'm a Dreamer. And I'm really honored to be here. And with that, I'll share with you a quick poem I wrote a few years ago when I first came forward as being undocumented. So, it's a pretty emotional poem, so stay with me here. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. I sing and speak of my country, land where my father died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountain side. O America, listen to this plea. O mother country, forgive me for this loyalty. Of both I sing. But which is my country? I am amidst two homes, both equal, both beloved. For I owe my birth to one, but my art to another. My seeds to one, but my nurture to the other. Land of the pilgrim's pride, but America, you are this pilgrim's pride. If only you remain my guide, and if only you embrace my side, I shall sing, let freedom ring. Mr. President and congressional leaders know that the above poem expresses the sentiments of millions of young people. In particular, it reveals my story of coming to the United States when I was just 11. We came here on a visitor's visa and just happened to overstay because my petitioner, my grandfather, passed away during our green card process. Mr. President, through these words and congressional leaders, through these words, I hope my fellow dreamers and I can lay out to you our personal struggle of being in a country which we love, one for which we will die serving, one to which we contribute to every day, and also the one in which our upper bounds suffocate us. Mr. President and congressional leaders, we wish there were words to describe the mixture of pains, the sorrows, the tragedies, the conflicts, the love, the beauty, the opportunities, the loyalty, the hopes, and the faith that we dreamers and our families experience in every quantum of our lives. But words escape us. Mr. President and congressional leaders, it is time we take action, and we take action now, and we turn the tides. Freedom and liberty have profound prices. Our founding fathers have paid these prices and envisioned for our nation to persevere through divisions. In light of this, the youth of America has taken the critical action to mobilize. We realize that if we were to make a difference in the lives of Americans, pursue justice for all, and fight for the welfare of our nation, we must take action, and we must take it now. Mr. President and congressional leaders, now more than ever, we have acted boldly, and we need you to stand by our side. We need the DREAM Act. We need a clean DREAM Act to pass before the end of the year. Thank you all for being here.
Yep. Yeah.
Thank you for those beautiful words, Saba. And now we have Joanna Puno-Hester from the Asian Pacific American Labor Alliance.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joanna Puno-Hester. I am an international vice president for the American Federation of State, County, Municipal Employees. I am also a national officer of AAPI, the Asian Pacific American Labor Alliance, and an assistant executive director for the United Domestic Workers of America out in California. I came to the U.S. when I was 15, and a few days after arriving, my father took my brothers and I to a picket line where workers demanded to be treated fairly by their bosses. Many of these workers looked like my father and I. They were black, they were brown, and they were immigrants. I quickly realized that in this country of milk and honey, a country of opportunities, nothing is won without a fight. That's why today's fight for the 11 million undocumented immigrants and the hundreds of thousands more refugees group in this is a personal one. I have been organizing workers for more than 2 decades, and never have I seen a more vicious administration than this, where imminent threat against our families, our friends, our communities are in front of us. And in a time where white supremacists feel emboldened to act with hate violence in Charlottesville and with hate rhetoric in Edison, in a time where our own union members' rights to organize are being threatened, and in a time where Muslim and undocumented brothers and sisters are under constant attack, we need to fight back. You agree?
Yeah.
Absolutely. The Trump administration has clearly defined itself as an anti-worker, white supremacist, and a xenophobic regime, stoking fear into communities of color. With a string of failed immigration policies, Perhaps the most outrageous one is the killing of the DACA program, which now puts 800,000 immigrant youths and over 16,000 Asian American immigrants under threat of detention and deportation. And if we don't fight now, if we don't fight for the diverse country America has become, millions of lives will suffer. Today we have the power to build and advocate for a future where Black lives matter, where Native people's land and our water supply are defended, where immigrant families are kept together instead of torn apart. With last week's revoking of the TPS for Nicaraguans and soon thousands more from Honduras, El Salvador, and Haiti, what we are seeing today are some of the tactics to rid anyone in this country who isn't white. And we are now calling on Congress to do better. We call on Congress to support a pathway to for citizenship for all 11 million undocumented immigrants. What this looks like is passing a DREAM Act now. This means no additional funding for increased border enforcement. This means no expanded detention beds and deportation, including those with criminal conviction records. This means no building of a border wall, no changes to the family immigration system, and no changes to immigrants' access to public benefits. Our Asian American Pacific Islander communities refuse to be a wedge group, so we join together with our brothers and sisters and siblings to denounce and fight back against white supremacy and racism, because we know that an attack to one is an attack to all. So what do we do when immigrants' rights are under attack? Stand up, fight back. When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
Thank you, sisters and brothers.
And now, from a dreamer and a DACA recipient and representing Aspire, Steve Lee.
Go Steve! Good morning. Thank you, Congressman Judy Chu. Thank you for all your leadership in this issue. My name is Steve and I'm from the beautiful city of San Francisco. And I know what it's like to have your family being torn apart. In the morning of September 2010, I was woken up at 6 a.m. by a loud knock on the door. Frazzled and confused, not knowing what it was, my parents answered the door and were shocked that all of a sudden immigration officers started coming into our house. My parents were immediately handcuffed and detained and later deported because of their immigration status. They came to the United States in 2010 to escape, in 2001 to escape political and economic turmoil and to provide me with better opportunities. They work every day in a grocery store to provide food for the community that they serve until they were inhumanely detained and deported. Not having my family here has meant that they were not able to attend my college graduation from UT Davis in 2015. I had to spend for the last 6 years my birthday, Thanksgiving, Christmas without my family. With DACA ending in March, more families will be torn apart. 800,000 young people who have grown up in the United States like myself since they were children will start losing their DACA status and protection from deportation starting March of 2018. We once again live in fear every day once we step out of our house that we will be deported at any time when our roots has been here in the United States. Yet we wake up every day with our heads up high and continue to work and contribute to the community that has invested so much in us, yet turn their back against us. An undocumented person can be your neighbor, your friend, or your loved ones. Passing the DREAM Act is a common sense policy that keeps families together. Our communities have waited too long for the last 17 years for immigration legislation to fix our broken immigration system that continues to tear families apart. Undocumented people will not be used as a bargaining chip. We are here today standing united as a community of Asian American and Pacific Islanders to say that we stand with all DACA and undocumented people and support a clean DREAM Act without any militarization of the border. Now more than ever, under this political climate that thrives on fear, is when we need to pass the DREAM Act now in December and to protect the most vulnerable community,
The time to act is now. All we want for Christmas is what?
Dream Act!
All we want for Christmas is a Dream Act. Yes. All we want for Christmas is what?
Dream Act!
Thank you.
And now we'd like to close out our press conference with comments from our Congress members that have recently arrived. Congressmember Al Green and then Congressmember Pramila Jayapal. Congressmember Green.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to compliment you for the many good deeds that you perform, and this ranks among the very highest. Would you kindly join me in giving an expression of love to the Honorable Judy Chu? Yes. Please. Thank you. I promise to be pithy and concise. Madam Chair, not only do I support the DREAM Act, it is my belief that every parent of a child who is still here who has been deported, every parent has to be brought back. Bring the parents back. We cannot be a country that is noble and live up to all of our great ideals if we are going to separate people from their children. This is not the United States of America that I know and love, and we will not tolerate this. We must have a DREAM Act that has a pathway to citizenship, or it is not a DREAM Act at all. So I promise to be pithy and concise, and I will leave you with these words. Dr. King reminded us that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. Every person here has the opportunity to bend the arc of the moral universe toward justice. Every person here has to become a majority of one and make it perspicuously clear to your congresspersons that the DREAM Act is your #1 priority, and if you can't act on the DREAM Act, don't act at all. I stand with the dreamers. Thank you.
Congressmember Jayapal from Washington.
Thank you so much, and let me just say a huge appreciation to Judy Chu for her tremendous leadership. You know, we've been trying to lift up Asian American voices in the immigration debate, and there is nobody that does that better than Judy Chu. So thank you for your leadership over years in Congress. Look, I represent Washington's 7th Congressional District, but I come to this issue as an immigrant myself. I'm one of only maybe a dozen members of Congress who were born outside of the United States. And it took me 17 years to get my citizenship. I was not able to bring my parents here because they were too old. By the time I got my citizenship, it would have taken another 8 years. And so the reality is we live on different continents. But nothing in my experience has really brought me to the realization of how much work we need to do on the immigration system more than being an immigrant rights activist for the last 15 years before coming to Congress. And what I can tell you is I know that we immigrants live in the hyphen. Indian Americans, South Asian Americans, Chinese Americans, we live in the hyphen. We understand how important our relationships across the world and with our families are. And we understand that the work we need to do is to lift people up all over the world. And the immigration system has been one of the core ways that we have done that. So the DREAM Act is one piece of what we need to do. One incredibly important piece of what we need to do. And after 15 years of working with NACASAC, with the New York Immigration Coalition, with so many other groups, APALA, so many other groups across the country, to make sure that we are lifting up the voices of Asian Americans and pushing for a comprehensive immigration reform that brings 12 million undocumented immigrants out of the shadows, that allows families to be reunited instead of decades-long waits for citizenship and for permanent residence, to make sure that we protect worker rights, and yes, to make sure that all of our undocumented young people in this country who have contributed so much to our country and stand to contribute even more. We stand to gain so much more from our dreamers. We need to pass the DREAM Act, and we need to pass a clean DREAM Act, because all of the talks about adding other things to it are completely irrelevant to the conversation of legalizing undocumented young people and providing a path to citizenship. That's why
I think we need to stand firm, and I, along with Representative Gutierrez, Espaillat, and somebody else who I can't remember right now, 4 of us wrote an op-ed saying that if Republicans need Democratic votes, and there were 20 people who signed on to this op-ed, if Republicans need our votes for a continuing resolution, then we need to have a Clean Dream Act as part of that deal. Recognize that they're in the majority, and if they don't need our votes, they have 248 votes. If they can corral all of their people, then we don't have a lot of leverage. But the last budget resolution, there were 90 Republicans that voted against that budget resolution. They needed Democratic votes for it, and I think that we get to say what our values and principles are. And the DREAM Act and Dreamers have to stop being a political football. That is just not right. We need to use our leverage to do everything we can to pass a Clean Dream Act and to make sure that we address all the other pieces of the immigration system that need to be fixed. And that's why I'm so proud this week to have introduced a bill with my dear colleague Yvette Clarke from New York and Ileana Ross-Lenton from Florida around the temporary protected status, TPS recipients. We need to protect all of our TPS recipients across the country. There's so much more to do, but what I know is that everything we've won around DACA protections and everywhere we've gotten on the DREAM Act has been because of Dreamers. And so I just want to say thank you to the Dreamers who told their stories. Your poem was just incredibly powerful. I'd like a copy of it. We'd like to put it out over our social media. But nothing happens without the energy, the talent, the courage, and the resilience of the young people who are at the forefront of this movement and leading us towards justice. So thank you all so much.
No Dream Act, no government! No Dream Act, no government! No TPS, no government! No TPS, no government! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down!
Shut it down! So thank you so much for coming here today. I know that our speakers will be available for individual interviews. Thank you for coming to this press conference, and let's make sure there's justice for our dreamers.
Yes.
Shall we do it? Yeah, group picture with us.
Michelle,
you're good, Raymond.
Could I get a picture or a copy of the picture?
Absolutely. Okay, hold on 1 second. Oh. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Come on, Jongbin.
Okay.
In the picture. Show your face. Show your face, Jongbin.
Over here.
Over here. Over here.
Don't be ashamed to show that.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, thank you guys.
Yeah, it's in Sugyung's trunk. I have one here too. Here, the small pocket. Okay. Do you need cables? Okay. Okay.
You have to do one more flattering.
Want to share anything for our 26 viewers?
There's 26?
26.
Oh, no. Oh, I didn't have any.
26 viewers. Thank you for watching.
That's good.
Like and subscribe.
Now everyone bring one more viewer.
Everyone bring one more viewer.
Great.
I wish you could all be here with us.
Huh?
I wish you could all be here with us.
In DC.
Mm-hmm.
Nice and brisk.
Oh, it's nice out today. I don't have my sweater on anymore. I was like, it feels good.
Oh my God, you're in t-shirts. Oh.
The Dirksen building is that way. The lunch is that way.
You wanna say anything for our viewers? Huh? Facebook and YouTube. There's yeah.
You
wanna say anything for our viewers?
Hello.
Oh, that's it. Mom, I'm on TV. 지금 전국에서 보고 있는 사람들한테 하실 말씀 있어요? 보고 있는 사람들한테.
글쎄, 뭐 특별히 문안.
그래. Hey. Good. How are you? Huh?
Is it live streaming right now?
Yes.
Oh no.
You wanna say anything for our viewers? Well,
Oh, thanks for coming.
It's good to see you. We're going to have a lunch only the first before. We're going to be in the KPAC meeting.
so people watching on Facebook, we're gonna flip this, but don't worry, we're gonna flip the camera again, so it'll be back in normal.
Wait, was it upside down?
Huh?
Was it upside down during the live stream?
It's okay, we're gonna flip it soon enough.
Oh, but I mean, like during the whole press conference.
No, it was fine.
Oh, okay. That's all I wanted to know.
Yeah. Good.
Okay.
I know.
왜 자꾸만 Okay. Alright, so we are live from Washington DC. We are here in front of the White House and the press conference featuring Congressman Julie Chu, several Dreamers, and other elected representatives who came to speak in support of a Clean Dream Act has just concluded. Shortly, in about an hour and 10 minutes, we'll be coming back again with a rally in front of the Senate building, in front of the Senate Russell building, I believe. You can check our schedules on our website at aapidream.org. So thank you for staying with us, and we hope to see you throughout the day. Thanks. 뭐 말씀하실래요? 보고 있는 사람들에게?
이걸 30분이다. 어쩔래?
So I have Dayquil and Advil. Oh, do you want to straight up eat some of this. We're like, that's not what I asked. Who did that?
So you went straight ahead. You said independence.
Hi, good to see you. Good to see you. Do you lunch? No. Yeah.
Yeah, why not? I don't know.
We're going to eat lunch now. That is the best idea I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Oh, hi China, thank you for joining us. So what's going on right now is we just concluded a press conference. So that's a kickoff action for API, for national API mobilization for the for Clean Dream Act. So we are we are holding 2 days of actions in the capital in support of a Clean Dream Act, pressuring Congress, telling the Congress to do their job and pass the Clean Dream Act. We just concluded a press conference with Representative Judy Chu, as well as other elected officers and several Dreamers from all over the country, from Nebraska, Texas, California, Tennessee, Kentucky, and other places. And in about an hour, what time is it now? In about an hour and 10 minutes, we'll be having a rally for the Dream Act in front of the Senate building at the Senate Russell building. You can check out more information at our website at apidream.org. I believe you can find the link to the website in the comments section of this video. So stay tuned, and we might have an interruption as we move towards the rally, but we'll be back up at the rally in an hour.
No, we are just hanging out. After lunch, we will have a
Let me know if there's anything I can do. Are you going to go?
Okay. We're going to lose them to time in the water. She lives in DC.
Been here before, but not like.
It is. So when did you get here? That's fine. We got all the Chicago people. Chicago people taking over the
How did it work out? How did it work out? Did it get posted?
Everybody has a
Did it get posted?
Yeah, we did good. There's still, at a peak point, we had about 30 people. We still have 23 people watching currently. They're there.
Forward march! Lunch and the rally are in the same general area. So grab your lunch, start walking in that direction, and then folks will be there to kind of tell you what buildings to go into for lunch. Start grabbing like just.
All right.
Grab your food, your sandwich here. Everyone grab a sandwich. Everyone has a sandwich and keep it.
Right here.
we grab sandwiches for everyone, and then we are moving to the rally location currently.
I guess so, but vegetarian option. I mean, these are all
Okay, do we have both banners now? Oh shit, where's the other banner?
They're all.
Hey Sam, you ever gonna see the other banner?
Oh, you know these?
I think they grabbed our instruments, by the way.
You got it?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna take the other.
Using the box? Fine.
Okay.
What do you want?
So we're gonna flip this again. And maybe.
Oh wait, all of these are turkey.
Oh, just kidding, just turkey.
Where's Facebook here?
Oh wait, is this yours?
Yes, that's mine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I'll grab a turkey.
Is this also yours?
I can hold on to it.
Are you sure? Or no?
Haha! No choices. I like that. They're just like,
Use it, yeah. Here it is. Here it is.
I'm all about
Okay. So then, if we can just have folks carry the remaining.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Actually, I can
We need to deliver. We need to move some boxes. I can help.
I think.
네.
I can.
Becky just said dumplings are eating outside.
What are they saying over there? Sugeng just said they're eating the dumplings outside. Are you a dumpling eater? 나영 씨 안녕하세요.
사랑하는 영어.
네.
멋있네. 그게 뭐예요?
네. 라이브 방송 중입니다. 이렇게 지금 어수선한 와중에도 지금 21명이 보고 있네요.
그렇군요.
네.
아마 친구들이 많나 봐요.
켜놓고 이제 다른 딴짓 하고 있겠죠 아마?
근데 지금 라이브 하시는데 이렇게 천천히 가셔도 돼요?
뭘?
빨리 가셔야지 랠리를 찍지.
랠리 지금 시작하지 않잖아요. 1시에 시작하잖아요.
아 그래요?
되게 힘들어 보이네.
그렇군요.
이걸 드시고 제가 박스를 들을까요?
안 힘들어 안 힘들어. 괜찮아. 우리 지금 어디로 가고 있는 건지 알아요? 혹시?
북쪽으로요. 네.
We don't know where we're supposed to be going.
Oh yeah, this way. Follow us.
Yeah, just follow us.
Follow us.
Not sure you want to do that. Who knows where we're
Oh, that's true.
Do we know where we're going? Or do you still have this on live stream?
Yes.
Oh!
Hey!
So we're here today. Wait, sure. Get into work mode, guys. Work mode.
Work mode.
Work mode.
With a Q.
So, live from Washington D.C. in the Capitol. No, never mind. They're doing it.
You're gonna do it? No? Oh, there's
Why do you need two?
one for Facebook, one for YouTube. The YouTube one shows up automatically on the website too.
Oh.
Wanna say anything?
I haven't had
How's the
coffee
weather?
today. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful DC day.
Yes, it's so nice, right? Everyone's wearing thin clothes.
We walked over here from the church and we had to take our jackets off because it was so crisp and beautiful. It's a beautiful day for a rally.
Yay!
Yeah.
Thank you, Liz.
You're welcome.
I know it's in this general direction.
Yeah, it is.
Are you practicing up?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you ever stop filming?
If we don't get it,
shut it down.
If we don't get it,
shut it down.
What do we want?
Dream it.
Is this box a rally prop too?
It's lunch.
No, it's a bunch of turkey sandwiches.
It's a lunch. We want lunch.
You gotta be well fed when you're doing this work.
I got the protective layer to keep me warm, you know?
Protective layer.
Oh
my.
Please, no. Please.
Why is the camera being wobbly?
I hear that drum.
They're drumming with us. I just know the number.
Huh?
Facebook
Facebook and YouTube. Yeah.
Look at that. How Maru is strong. This is all stored.
Good job, Naru. Oh, what happened on
Stored
Facebook?
in the box. Very heavy stuff. Hello. See, they already started, right? Yo,
Huh?
they already started.
When are we gonna eat? We need to eat.
Good question. Maybe Joe already ate?
Hey Tony! What's up?
Oh hi! Oh my gosh, long time.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Good, good.
Oh, I love that. I love that dual camera setup.
Oh yeah.
Does it do like 360? Is that?
Hmm?
Does it do
It's
like
possible, but you need to adjust the canvas here during the 360. I guess you can do it like this.
Follow. Anthony has hands up. Go over there. Wait, he's here. Why don't you guys start walking that way so we can break up through?
With turkey
You know you're serious when you listen to a phone.
So the Congressional Asian Pacific Caucus will be meeting with representatives from our youth. So we're going to be splitting. This crew will be going to get ready for that. And I think the rest of the crew will be doing the rally. I think. Oh, there's no place to make the stand on.
We're going to the Dirksen building. Yeah,
There's restrooms. Is this in Chan?
Chan and Ellis? Maru?
You wanted to stay here.
I love being in the
Somebody like didn't put pressure or anything.
Alright folks, so we are in the grassy area in front of the Senate Russell building. We'll be taking a break here, I believe, and have a rally here at 1 p.m. It's currently 12 p.m. and in the meantime, several of our... Oh no, it's facing the other way. Do you know what's going on, Tim?
We are eating lunch. The rally's going to be at 1 o'clock.
And then the KPAC group went over there?
Yes, they're meeting KPAC.
They already need to get ready for the 3 p.m. meeting?
Yes, I believe so. I don't know.
Okay. So our youth members were meeting with representatives from the Congressional Asian Pacific Caucus. Headed over there.
Yep.
And because we can't find any place to hang it on, I think the police is going to hassle us if we hang it by the tree, right?
The banners?
No, if we hang the tripod by the tree. Maybe we should try.
We can take turns, I don't know.
We'll what do you mean we can take turns?
Well, we can figure
I just say so because he has this little plaque thing.
Oh man, the Lake Patrick Lane.
It makes it look like it's an endangered species, you know?
Well, climate change is real, so we're all endangered species if you think about it.
So we're gonna hang this by a tree and see if that's possible. If the police says no, I guess we'll take down the stream. Wish us luck.
Oh, is there? Wow. That way, right?
Oh yeah, I was right there. I will take it. Oh, this is a nice setup. That thing you have with your phones is super cool. Yeah. Yeah, you had carrying it in like a stick. Yeah, those were our
Got it. I got the dumpling. You got the one.
Is that going to be enough?
Oh, perfect. Okay.
So you can help. Well, let's get like 2 more people if we can. Yeah, we're the stuff is just 1 block down, so we're just gonna carry we just gotta go I better work good. Okay, cool. No, it's literally like a 10-minute project.
You guys, whose is this?
Well, that's Youngo's.
So we can't hang from the tree.
Yeah, very nice to meet you. This is Riley.
They said no. The police said we can't do this. So. No hanging from the tree. But it's really cool. It's really cool. Well, we're gonna have a stage, so maybe there'll be some. I don't know. It probably won't be high enough.
We'll be back.